We have World Cup fever here in the studio right now on Coast FM 963. Roar and Moore, Engo, Brando, Stevo and James O'Brien. With you as always between 7 and 9 p.m. Celebrating the long weekend and what we got up over it. One thing that a lot of Aussies got up to over the long weekend was the magnificent game the Socceroos played on Thursday night, playing against Japan in a very important World Cup qualifier. Aziz Bayic from the left-back position scored a goal in the 90th minute. It was his third career goal for Australia, his first goal he scored in 13 years in front of 60,000 fans in Perth. My goodness.
Well done.
Yes. I believe it was I gotta probably admit something. I didn't watch all of the game because I was obviously alternating between the game and between the Manly Newcastle game, and unfortunately,
you were multitasking.
I was. I believe you boys were actually also multitasking that night too.
Well, I was switching between crying and screaming at the Manly game.
Preaching to the choir there, mate.
Laughing.
I guess we got to address the pink elephant in the room, don't we?
Yeah, well, it was another raw derby on Thursday night as well. Our Manly Seagulls, Steve, went up against James's Newcastle Knights. And Brando, I know you're a Newcastle fan as well, so you would have been cheering for them in that game.
Says who?
I think James claimed you. So, it was a good first half. Not so good second half for us. Then Kalen Plonker just picked a high ball out of nowhere in Golden Point and won it for the Knights.
Good on you, Bonga.
Did you catch it?
Good times, yeah.
Or were you working, or did you catch it?
I caught it. I was lucky. I caught it. And I typically thought that, like in the first half, like Manly was dominated, and I typically thought, it's just going to be one of those games.
Oh boy, were you wrong?
Oh yeah, I was very wrong.
The
second half, wow.
You weren't the only Knights fan that thought that, because at half time, I don't know if you saw this, boys, even though the score was only 16-0 to Manly, the Knights players were booed off by their own fans.
I did see that. Yeah.
I would, if I was the Knights players, I'd be like, screw you guys. If you're going to boo us, I'm going to just stay in the sheds.
Actually, I actually go disagree with that, because sometimes you do go to be harsh to your own team to give them that boost.
Bit of tough love, eh?
Yeah, a bit of tough love, because, if the Knights was in, say, third place, then I'd agree with you, but the Knights is in the 15th, and you need that bit of boost from the fans, because
the fans are fed up.
Yeah, and also they're from the passionate side. They're pretty much from fans that want their club to do well, and any other fans and any would do the same thing to any of their clubs.
Yeah, and how satisfying was that for you, seeing them actually come back and win?
Yeah, about time.
I guess it's what we've known for years, mate. Tough times, tough hits. Being a Manly supporter, but there's actually another elephant to also address in the room, and
a more recent elephant.
Yeah, I guess you could say, because Brando, we were watching the final few minutes of your team tonight against their game against the Bulldogs, and so you kind of know how we're feeling a bit tonight.
I actually didn't catch the score, Brando. I heard you yelling a lot, so I'm guessing. I'm guessing it wasn't good.
Not good at all.
I think he's had to turn the TV off.
We turned the TV off once the game was over. Okay,
so you were a good boy and you watched all of it.
Yes, of course.
But what did it end up? I didn't actually catch the score.
It was 30-12. Unfortunately, Para didn't got the 30 points.
Damn, because they were well in it when I turned it on out there, and then I saw Galvin score, which was crazy on his Bulldogs debut. So
yeah, they got a last minute try. Actually, they nearly had a last 2-minute try. Because as Parramatta had the ball with about 30 seconds left, the Bulldogs also got an interception, and thankfully the Parramatta fullback made the tackle, so the score wasn't as worse as what it could be. So,
Brando, I think even though both our teams lost this weekend, there's one thing we can definitely find solidarity with,
and that is
at least we don't go for the Dragons.
They were putting a body bag.
Oh my goodness.
Well, actually, you know what? Actually, there is there was one good result though over the weekend. Now, I know probably a lot of you boys won't agree with me, and there'll probably be some people also on the coast that probably may not agree with me too. However, though, the Wars, they keep winning.
I was waiting for that. Yes.
And that's probably their most impressive win of the season so far at Shark Park against the team that are really on fire.
Oh yeah,
40-10.
Yeah,
massive score.
Fair
you must have been stoked with that, Steve.
Am I kind of right or wrong? I don't know. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Would you say maybe the Sharks have become the Warriors have become the Sharks' bogey side? Like how maybe there's some teams that have that with some clubs in the NRL, like the Dragons used to be the Raiders' bogey side?
Could be. We'll have to have a look back at the stats and see. We'll come back with the record, but in the meantime, that is a very good thing to go to the break with, because coming up we are going to be hearing Brando's good vibe of the night. But in the meantime, something else that's been happening over this long weekend has been the Central Coast Harvest Festival and the Glenworth Grazing Music Festival that's been out at the Glenworth Valley. Coming up right after this, we're going to be hearing one of the headliners of that event, legendary Aussie singer-songwriter. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, Ingo, Brando, Steve-O and James O'Brien. I really tried not to commit to it that time, but it just comes out. We are celebrating the King's Birthday long weekend and also the Central Coast Harvest Festival that's been on the last couple of days. That right there was legendary Aussie singer-songwriter Pete Murray with his 2006 hit single Better Days. He was the headliner playing down at Glenworth Valley yesterday for the Glenworth Grazing Festival, alongside a familiar voice to Coast FM listeners. Faith Williams also played on the stage alongside him. She was a part of our Sounds of the Coast Music Festival a couple of months ago.
Shout out to Faye wherever you're listening, if you're listening or not right now.
For sure, and they're always great to see a Coast FM alumnus performing on big stages like that. And something that's good to hear as well is a segment that is even better than the Glenworth vibes in my mind. It is Brando's Good Vibe of the Night.
Ooh, yeah.
That's right, it's Brando's Good Vibe of the Night, the segment where he dives into his own personal playlist, pulls out a song that he thinks has immaculate vibes, slaps it out there on the Coast of M airwaves and hopes that you, yes you, Patrick, who just called in a minute ago to chat about the footy with us, enjoy it as much as he does. Brando, my man, what have you got on the vibes table tonight?
Oh, wow, this one goes out to OG Coast FM presenter who's now moved down south, but we still keep in contact to this day. I'm, of course, talking to the South Coast superstar Bradley B-Rad Martin.
Yeah, shout out to B-Rad, who's coming up to the coast for a bit of a short visit from Nowra.
Yeah, that's right. That's why the song goes out to him. He's one of his favourite songs to cover, especially for karaoke, Tainted Love by Soft Cell.
That's for sure. And when this song comes out, the moves come out as well. B-Rad Martin, the Riz, the MILF Magnet, that's what we like to call him.
Yes. So watch out, ladies of the Central Coast. B-Rad's coming back.
And here is Brando's Good Vibe of the Night for B-Rad. It is Tainted Love. Coast of M 963, you're on Raw and More. That right there was Brando's Good Vibe of the Night, which was, of course,
Tainted Love by Soft Cell, because sometimes I feel like I've got to run away. I've got to run away.
To Nowra.
This one goes out to you, Bradley.
So B-Rad's coming up this weekend.
Yes. He asked me, he's like, hey, are you boys doing anything? He's like, I have to ask, but why? Because he's coming down. He's coming down.
Oh, that's awesome sauce. Well, B-Rad, if you're listening right now, we're going out to karaoke and you're singing that song for us, and we will premiere your version of it on the show next week.
Yeah, that's right. So warm up them vocal cords.
And if you're not doing anything next Friday night, come on down to Settlers.
Oh, man, you're going to get a whole crowd down there, Steve. They'll be lining up around the block now to see B-Rad perform.
Entry is free.
I know, right? Well, it's very funny you've picked that song as your good vibe, because it's time for a very deja vu edition of
two songs. They sound exactly alike.
Really?
Yes, these are two songs.
It's almost like they are.
And they sound alike.
Hey, Angus, these songs sound just alike.
Well, it's funny you say that, Steve, because this is Sound-Alikes. The segment where I give you two songs, one original and one that took a little bit of, let's just say, inspiration from the original. Whether it be in a sample, where they took the source material and reused it, or an interpolation where they re-recorded it, or maybe even did a similar melody. It's up to my team of sleuths in front of me right now.
Which we famously lose.
Pretty much.
Well,
Speak for yourself.
I would say Steve famously. Well, we got Professor Brandon Macmillan and his proteges, Dr. James O'Brien and Dr. Steve Wheatley.
As you can tell, I'm very confident.
Yeah. Especially with someone that has the title of Professor. You sound very, very knowledgeable.
Indeed.
But it's up to these guys when we come back to figure out if the inspiration, the sampling or interpolating was done legally, all the hoops were jumped through, the system was done perfectly, or if they thought they could get away with it and got in big, big trouble, very not success. And the reason why I pointed out that it's quite a deja vu version of Sound Alikes is because...
No way.
Listen to what song number 1 is. Let's send it again, Sam. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, and we are in the midst of a segment right now called Sound Alikes, the segment where I play a couple of songs, one of which is an original, well, in this case, a little bit unoriginal, but we'll get into that in just a minute. But one is original, one takes a little bit of, let's just say, inspiration from the original. At the top, we heard from Brando's Goodbye of the Night. A bit of a deja vu right there, double play of Soft Cell's version of Tainted Love.
Naughty.
And that song right there was Rihanna with her 2006 hit single. I didn't realize it was that old, my goodness. SOS, obviously... A lot of inspiration was taken with the synthy and kind of rocky elements in that track. A lot of the backing track sampled Soft Cell's version of Tainted Love with the bong bong and all that sort of thing. But the question is, to my team of sleuths in front of me right now, was it sampled in a legal way where they got permission, or did they rip Soft Cell off?
Based on gut feeling, and this was produced by, a very successful artist, so there's no way they didn't ask permission or anything like that, or anyone in the studio was like, hey, this sounds familiar, so I think they did it legally.
Well, true, but, it was one of Rihanna's earlier singles, so,
I don't know.
Okay, you're going to stick with it. All right.
I'll stick with it.
Well, let's see what Steve says. Maybe that'll sway you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, look, no, before I actually give you my answer, you were actually saying that you actually hadn't heard that Rhiannon version for a while. I actually am a bit of the same, because I do remember probably back in my sort of early to mid 20s, that was like so many songs that are out there, one song you would always hear when you go clubbing or whatever, that song.
Yeah. Really good song, but the real question is, Steve, do you think it's legal or
illegal?
Yeah, no, look, I'm going to go with Brando on this one. I think Brando's on the money. I think there was a bit of a controversy with it, so yeah.
No, he reckons it's legal.
Oh, he reckons it's legal. All right, well then, sorry, scrap that. I reckon there could have been some controversy with it. There probably might have been some issues with it. So maybe that's my answer.
All right, so Steve's reckoning it's a bit illegal. Sir James O'Brien, he's currently reading up a book and he's looking very distinguished, very educated, very smart.
Educated?
Yes. What do you reckon? Are you going to go with your professor or Stefan with your choice, sir?
Well, boys, I reckon. All right, I'm going to put down my guessing for dummies book right now.
You're not a dummy, James.
All right. To be honest, I probably, because Rhiannon's really pretty big at the time, really big, even though it's probably one of the early ones. I don't think that they would have thought that through as much. I reckon they probably would have done that illegally.
Oh, so you reckon it's a rip-off?
Yeah, I reckon that they probably we can get away with that one.
So you agree with me? You reckon there was maybe something in it controversial?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, I can confirm at least one of you is right.
That
person, well, maybe it could be two of you, who knows? But I can confirm the person or people that is correct is Brando.
He's still
he's doing a victory lap around the studio.
Yeah, it's the makeup for his Parramatta.
There you go. He can celebrate one win tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Parramatta may not have won many things this year, but Brando, he is undefeated in Sound Alikes.
Well, there you go. You just got to go against Steve. SOS by Rihanna, of course, it contains a sample of Tainted Love, but it was sampled completely legally. In fact, so much so that they went back to the original writer of the song, Ed Cobb, who made the original version of Tainted Love, which was sung by Gloria Jones, and they gave him a writing credit 40 years after the original song was released.
Actually, it was 60, sorry there, mate.
No, because 2006 is 40 years after 1965.
Oh, sorry. I thought I read that it was 50. Sorry, 60. Sorry.
But like obviously, it was used very massively in the Rihanna track. It ended up becoming her first number one on Billboard, and she doesn't get any royalties because she didn't write it. But at least it kind of helped her become the popular artist she is today. And shout out to Coast FM's very own Greg Burwood for calling in while those songs were playing and giving us that information about Gloria Jones's original version of Tainted Love, released back in 1965. In fact, May of 1965, so it just celebrated its 60th birthday.
Oh, that's why I got confused.
So there you go, Steve. And speaking of good things to celebrate coming up, well, this is a segment endorsed by James Rain of Australian Crawl, actually. It's Angus's Good Vibe of the Night. That's right. It is my good vibe of the night. Sorry. It's my good vibe of the night, the segment where I dive deep into my own personal playlist, pull out a song that I think has immaculate vibes, slap them out there on the Coast FM airwaves, and hope that you, yes you, Greg Burwood, and Greg Hamill, my dad, whose birthday it was today, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Angus's dad.
Thank you, guys. I bet he really appreciates that. I hope they enjoy listening to this as much as I do. Now, tonight's pick is by a band that are kind of a little bit unknown, but they are starting to really gain traction. This is a band by the name of Baloo Brigada. Now, if that name sounds like hullabaloo to you, then, I mean, understandable.
That's because it is.
It is, yes, indeed. But this is a band that got the chance to go on tour with one of my favourite bands that you've definitely heard of, 21 Pilots. In fact, they were the backup for them during the later leg of their recent Clancy World Tour. They performed alongside 21 Pilots when they came to Sydney in November last year, and they were also with them for their North American and European leg. But the reason why I'm talking about these guys is because there was a particular song that they played in their sets that everyone was kind of going crazy over. And the reason why is because it was unreleased. And everyone was like, this is a banger, but the only form it had existence in was a 30-second long TikTok clip. That is until about a week ago when the Baloo Brigada boys kind of got into the craze that their song, their live performances of this song was generating on TikTok.
As you should.
And of course, and they made the most of it, and they finally released as a single the full version of this track. If you've been on the TikToks, you might recognize a bit of this. It's my good vibe of the night by American indie rockers. Really cool vibes with this one. Baloo Brigada with their brand new single, Backseat. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. And that right there was my good vibe of the night, which was, of course, Backseat by Baloo Brigada, a band that probably no one really knows by name, but have probably heard a little snippet of that song on the good old social medias and the TikToks. I had to be very careful with how I pronounce that. That's a band that got the chance to tour with one of my favourite bands, 21 Pilots, and that song in particular became quite popular. Mark my words, because they finally released it in full after it got so popular on social media, those guys, they are going to blow up towards the end of the year. I'm calling it right now. Mark the date. 9th of June, 8:05. Ango, Mango, Tango was correct.
Will they make it to the Triple J Top 100 next year?
Oh, that's actually a really interesting thought you've had, and very timely as well, because it's time for us to cross across the 8 o'clock threshold by taking a look back at a few songs that charted very well in a Hottest 100. So can we have a round of applause for James's segue?
Nice one, James.
Very nice, James.
Man, A+ to that. And speaking of, we are looking back at a year. You guys gave me a year each in the green room. I put them into a wheel. What were the years you picked? Do you remember?
I believe the one I chose, 2012, which was the year that they believed that the world was going to end based on the movie. And, being that the year that was actually selected for the night, you would think that the world actually was going to end.
So you're saying it didn't happen?
Well, no. I mean, some people thought, it was probably what happened that year when you find out what the year was, Coasies, that it probably was going to be the end of the world, but it wasn't.
Well, there you go. What about you, Brendo? What year did you pick?
Out of random, I picked 2005.
And Jamesy, what year did you pick?
Well, I missed an opportunity to pick the 2020 to talk about the real end of the world. But yeah, I picked 2021 because that's when we all went back to lockdown. So close enough.
Not only did he have a winning segue, his year was the one that was picked. So we're having a look back right now.
Wow.
With 3 songs that charted in the top 5 of the hottest 100 of 2021. When we come back, it's up to these guys to try and figure out which song charted the highest. And I know this might be recency bias, but if you guys get this wrong, I'm going to be super duper surprised. That's all I'm going to give you. Without further ado, here is song number 1. Bit of Olivia Rodrigo with Good For You. Coast FM 963, you're on the official second hour of Raw and more. Angus Hamill, Steve Wheatley, Brandon McMillan and James O'Brien with you between 7 and 9 p.m. We just had 3 songs back to back to back right there that charted in the top 5. In fact, I'll even go a little bit, narrow it down a little bit. It's the top 4 of the Triple J Hottest 100 of 2021. It's up to these guys right here to try and figure out which song charted the highest. But first, Jamesy, you were doing some sleuthing about the year that was 2021. Let's see if we can remember a couple of these events.
Well, me and Stephen Wheatley got our thinking caps on and did our research.
We did.
So this was the same year where the Australian women's swimming team set a new world record in Tokyo in the 4x100 meters rally.
That was such a good Olympics for us.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. No, there was that. So it wasn't all bad just because of obviously the pandemic that was happening. But a couple of we did do a bit of research, Jamesy. So a couple of other good things that came out that year. The most popular movies that were out at the time was The Legend of Molly Johnson, and you guys probably might know this one because of the video game Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That was one of the 2 of the biggest movies back then. And like myself and some of you boys, a couple of very good, interesting sporting results happened that year.
Yep.
It was the year. Well, you may not like this one as much, Angus, because of being your second team. The Panthers, they beat the South Sydney Rabbitohs in the grand final that year, 14-12. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL Super Bowl, 31-9.
And right now I'm going to beat all of these because I'll go first.
Well, let's go through the songs first. At the top, we heard from Olivia Rodrigo with Good For You. Then we heard from The Wiggles with their cover of Tame Impala's Elephant. And Spacey Jane, you just heard right there with their hit single Lots of Nothing. I'm actually seeing those guys in Brando's favourite city, Newcastle, this week. They're performing there Thursday night. Can't wait.
Are you going to be going with him, Brando?
No. Anyway, I'll go first. Now, I'm not normally a gambling man. The obvious answer would have been Olivia Rodrigo, but with my choice being that this song expired and do a full album of covers, I'm going to pick the Tame Impala cover by The Wiggles, Elephant.
I like that. How about you, Jamesy? What are you picking?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Wiggles cover.
Yeah?
And I probably think that Olivia Rodrigo will be somewhere around 3rd place and Spacey James somewhere around 2nd.
I love that. That's fantastic. And you've put the 3 together. Steve, bring it home. What are you going? Are you agreeing with these guys or are you going to go a bit different?
Actually, no, mate. I'm actually going to be a bit different. I've decided to not have Nostradamus for the rest of the year because obviously, my predictions haven't really been working out the last couple of weeks. But, I'm only just going to go the 1 tonight. I'm going to say at number 1 is going to be a good friend, and hopefully maybe you'll get to see her on Friday, mate, here at Coast FM. I'm going to go number 1, Spacey Jane.
Well, I can reveal right now the song that charted the highest out of those 3 was... It was The Wiggles, of course. It was The Wiggles. I wish it was Spacey Jane. That'd be nice.
Jamesy Brando twice in a row.
There you go. The dream combo is alive. Of course, The Wiggles topped the countdown that year with their version of Tame Impala's Elephant. Lots of Nothing by Spacey Jane came in at 3rd place, and Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo came in at 4th place. Between them, we heard Stay by the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber, but that song had too many naughty words to be broadcast this evening, so we're going to keep it off air. One thing we are putting on air, though, is...
And now it's time for The Local List. Brought to you by Home Brewed.
Got to keep it local.
That's right. We got to keep it local. It's the local list. The Homebrewed boys who used to be in this very time slot a couple of short years ago, Cameron Smith and Eamon Snow, bring us a fantastic new release by a local artist to play every single week. In this occasion, it comes from Cameron Smith, and it's an artist we've had on a couple of times before. Central Coast, Homebrewed, local list favourites, The Moving Stills are back with their second single of the year and the third overall of their upcoming EP. It's called Can't Be Like This Forever. It's another vibrant indie surf pop rock release using the band's signature blend of beachy sounding surf rock guitars, synth and drums. Can't Be Like This Forever follows the releases of Running Out and Telephone, both of which we premiered on the local list in the past, and make up 3 of the 6 tracks we're expecting to see from their EP, Half Moon Bay, that's going to be released in about a month's time. Without further ado, here is our pick for the local list tonight. It is The Moving Stills with Can't Be Like This Forever. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. That's correct. With Ango, Brando, Steve-O and James O.
James O.
Yeah, just James O. We are in the midst of a segment called The Local List, where the Homebrewed boys, Cameron Smith and Eamon Snow, send us a fantastic brand new release by a Central Coast artist every single week. That song you just heard was a bit of a favourite of Homebrewed and this segment as well. The Moving Stills with their brand new single, Can't Be Like This Forever. If you would like to see the Moving Stills performing live, well, you could be in luck alongside another legendary Australian indie rock outfit. Brando, I think your ears will perk up when I say they're playing in Newcastle this Thursday night. The Moving Stills are going to be supporting Spacey Jane on their Australian tour, and yes, they are playing in Newcastle Thursday night. Tickets are still available. I'm going up with a couple of friends, so I really can't wait for that. If you'd like to keep track of more of their gigs in the future, you can follow them on Instagram at The Moving Stills. And if you'd like to find out more about local music as a whole, you can head to the Homebrewed website, www.homebrewed.au. And Brando, I'll see you up in Newcastle on Thursday night. But you can't wait.
I think he says he's working that night.
I'm sick.
He's calling in sick.
Sick of Newcastle.
He's manifesting. Sick of Newcastle. I love that. Well, one thing we're definitely not sick of. A segment that makes you feel good inside when it makes him feel good on the outside. It's
Steve's Good Vibe of the Night.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, it's Steve's Good Vibe of the Night. It's his turn to slap one of his fave songs out there on the Coast FM airwaves and hope that you, Patrick, who called in again, enjoys it as much as he does. Stefan, what do you have for us?
Yes, my friend and boys, I have chosen something very particular for my Good Vibe of the Night, and I have chosen it in obviously because of recognition of today being the King's birthday. Now, it's a song that obviously everybody does know, and I think there will be quite a few listeners that will be definitely enjoying this song tonight. My song, funny enough, how would I explain it? It does have to do with a royal, but an unofficial, not royal band. It is also an English band, which coincides with obviously today. So, in honour of the King's birthday, I have chosen what could be considered the king of classic rock bands. I speak none other than Freddie Mercury and Queen with their classic hit, Radio Gaga. So here it is for all you out there on this King's birthday Monday night. Here is Queen with a bit of Radio Gaga.
Let's go Gaga for a bit of Queen on the King's birthday.
Or a bit of Goo Goo.
Oh, I love you too. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. We just heard Steve's Good Vibe of the Night, which was, of course...
That was, of course, none other than Queen with Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. And why not curl up, anybody on a Monday night, boys, on a very nice cold wintry night like this can curl up in front of a fire. But, why not be different like Patty from Narara right now, who's at home with a nice good bottle of bourbon, listening to a roaring, crackling, raw and more radio show.
Oh, man. I reckon Pat's got the right idea. I'd be doing the same if I was him. Good on you, Patty. The song you just heard was the Beatles with their smash hit, Love Me Do. That one goes out to my dad, Greg, who's listening at home right now, maybe. It's his birthday today, and that was the song that charted on the day he was born 61 years ago today.
Wow. In
the 9th of June, 1964. And Pat also wished Dad a happy birthday, so he's really doing everyone a favour tonight. Good on you, Pat. And before we go out to the 9 o'clock news and bring in our very own Will with Uncut Gems, he is joining us right now, pre-show in the studio. Will, sir, what have you got on Uncut Gems tonight?
Got a great show lined up. I'm going to be playing some local artists. Actually, a few friends of mine are going to be played tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited to, get them on the air for probably the first time and, see if they like it. And I've also got a bunch of other great songs on the air, so I'm definitely keen for that, yeah.
Wow, sounds great. A bit of paying forward. We played your band on Raw tonight, Pilot Buffalo, so you're going to be playing a few other fantastic local artists.
Absolutely.
I really cannot wait to hear that. I'll let you get yourself ready, and we're going to go out to the 9 o'clock news right now. Hope you've enjoyed Raw and More on this King's birthday public holiday. We leave you with one more King-themed song. This one was released years and years ago, by years and years. It's called King. From myself, Steve, Brando, and James, we'll see you same time next week for the last episode of Raw Season 4. Good night.
See you next week, Coasties.
Catch up.